Alrighty then.
Alrighty.
Let's go.
I've confused my priorities. Isn't it supposed to come to me? Yes, this is how it's meant to be. Every little thing flashing on a screen. Age of convenience. My daddy worked hard for this.
And welcome
There it
to
is.
Strangely Familiar, episode 8.
8.
It's the show with hotter friendships and even hotter questions. Hey, where's the other camera?
It's like
we
something
should
like
steal that.
that's what like MTV would say about our show if our show was around during the glory days of MTV.
Right. Yeah, so it's a day 8 in a row, you guys. As we don't know, we've done this 8 days in a row of re-exploring a completely dead friendship.
Yeah, we
That
are.
has no value.
We are
at all.
still coming back and choosing to do this under our
Right.
own free will.
I'm Matt.
I am not. I am still Jeff.
Yes, done it.
Yeah.
Hello, back at night, back in the evening. You can tell because I have my ring light on, and it really just captures the white and red hues of my skin, just completely dominating.
Really,
I
brings
need
out
the
the
summer.
red, but also the pale whites.
Yeah, I need the summer so badly.
Yeah,
Like just aching for it.
yeah. You're a burn first guy.
burn
Burn
first,
first, ask
white
questions
next.
later,
Yeah.
tan later. I don't know.
The only thing that ever happened. So I think you know. Let's get into it.
All right, jump into it.
I did right after I graduated college. I went with my college buds to Hawaii and lived there for a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say so it was, a bunch of people in a house, like we each paid like $200 a month in rent. It's basically a glory. I mean,
back in my day.
Yeah. Because we were all bunking up in several rooms, all of us together. And it was funny because I remember there was this guy there. I forgot I think his name was Rob. We thought he was the coolest guy because he was like 27 and had a job. it's like holy shit, that guy's got like a real job. He like goes to work every day. It's like, how do we compete with that? We can't,
Now wait, how many bedrooms was this place you stayed at?
4 to 5, including one makeshift bedroom.
I was gonna say 4 to 5. That's a very like college, post-college answer.
It was like 2 miles from the beach, but a real beauty.
Yeah.
But yeah, in Hawaii. So it took me. We would go to the beach every day, and it took me about a month of going to the beach every day to finally get a base tan. Like to finally have something where it'd be like, oh, this is gonna last for a minute. I mean,
wow.
After I left, it was gone. Shorter than a month, for sure. But I even had like a blonde streak. It looked like I had put sun in my hair. No, it's the real deal, baby.
No, wow.
That's when I got into sushi for the first time. I was always scared of it. I was gonna stop myself from feeling scared, and I was like, lean into it,
lean into it,
because I was scared. I was scared of sushi.
Yeah, I'm not a sushi guy. Are you still a sushi guy?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, no, that's
not a lot of exposure in upstate New York. I mean,
no,
like Wegmans will have it, grocery stores will have it, but you don't grow up with sushi.
I was just gonna say, I'm like, actually, my real one exposure was Wegmans, and I've tried it. I eventually mustered up I think I had, I don't know, what's a California roll that keeps coming to mind?
It's like, what is it, like avocado and cucumber and like salmon or something?
See, I don't think I had salmon.
It's kind of like one of the basic ones. I don't know if that's exactly right, but it's.
But I mean, I had something, and I'm like, it wasn't bad. I've had way worse things, but I don't get why it's all the rage. Tell me this. If it never had anything to do with chopsticks, would it be as popular? I think there's an aesthetic and a little bit of a pretentious feel to it.
I mean, it's also, I would say, it would have caught on eventually. Because I don't know if you know this, Americans like eating with their hands.
Yeah.
So we would have still picked it up. I mean,
Would it have been
nobody's,
is it a
nobody's
finger
watching.
food? Is it a finger food? I thought. See, now my idea is that anything eaten with chopsticks is a utensil based food, so it actually should transition to a fork, presumably.
You can eat anything with your hands.
Oh no, I know, but I'll tell you, French onion soup in my hands, that is a bad
Dude.
day.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's a good question. I would say, I mean, ultimately, you either like fish or you don't, and um, that's all I got to say about that.
Man, that's a
I think it
really
would.
hot,
I think it would.
that's a real hot take.
I think it would have caught on. I mean, it is like it's good food for me, because it's like it does give you energy. I feel like, but it doesn't fill you up too much. So
Okay.
there you go. Plus wasabi. I love a little wasabi. Clear out the nostrils. So yeah.
Great.
I did have to clean up a spill of Frank's Red Hot at the work this week
Oh,
because we didn't have our maintenance around. Just got a call like, oh, somebody broke something in aisle 14. And I walk over there. One of my employees, for sure, dropped a big thing of red. It was like the
it
big
wasn't even
bottle
a
of Frank's.
customer.
No. I was like,
And why'd
God,
you
don't
have to
know how
clean it
this
up?
I know, right?
You're
It's like he doesn't know how to
the
clean it
person the person who broke it's an employee, and you're not a custodian. Therefore, such as that
Mhm.
person cleans it up.
You know why? Because I do everything that needs to be done. That's who I am. I want to set the example. Guess what? I'll clean this up.
Is that why you did it?
Because next time you're gonna clean it up. Hey, you
That's not
watch me
setting
right
an
now.
example. You're setting a precedence that
He
you'll
probably hadn't.
clean
I
it
don't
up.
think he's used it before. We still use. They call it spill magic, but functionally, it's
Sawdust.
like, yeah, same thing as like elementary school puke cleanup. And it fucking works. But it did like it was a big bottle. Oh, it was cayenne like in my nostrils. Like I could barely breathe. I was like crying just cleaning this thing up.
Folks, I need you to put in the comments if you think Matt is setting a good precedence or if
Okay.
Matt's setting a good example. I see. I think you've set a precedence now that it's like, well, if something spilled, call Matt. He'll clean anything. Whereas you're seeing it as, you know what? This is what we do. You take your sawdust and you do this, and so next time it's on you. But they're deep inside, they're like going to be like, Matt, I don't know, where do I? And you'll be like, I'll show you one more time.
I'll be curious about the feedback on that. I do believe what you're saying. My style is to my leadership style is either to do it or to get really mad otherwise and just look at somebody really disappointed and not talk to them. I love to dad it. I love to either like do it and be like, this is how you do it and get it done. Then if something doesn't get done the way I don't like or whatever, I just like to have a really pouty face, an angry face, and just stare at somebody and watch them. And they know until they walk away. Or they know like, shit, it's kind of that thing. Not a lot of words exchanged, just a lot of, hey, this is how you do this. So next time you'll learn. You'll be able to do it. And if you don't do it next time, I'm just going to kind of give you a little angry mug. I'm going to give you the disappointed face.
But then,
what? Yeah, I'm still gonna
will you be okay with just being like, then I guess it sits there, and like have like a showdown of like, I'm not doing it.
No, I'm not okay with that.
See, so
I'm results oriented.
Oh boy,
I care about the result. I don't care about the human relationships that suffer because of it. We know this. I do like to. I mean, when
folks, this is a podcast that we're trying to rebuild a friendship after 20 years of. That brings
Jeff,
me to
you're doing this wrong. Stop. Yeah, stop saying what I do is wrong. I don't like that. Friendship ended.
Reshun.
Yeah, I do like to like. I mean, so I did have him. One thing like the actual Frank's Red Hot, so it broke and it got sauce all over the other bottles. And I was like, "Yeah, what's your plan for that?" I gave him one of those. I guess wipe them, like clean them off with a paper towel. I was like,
nope, those bottles are now scratch and sniff.
Yeah, go ahead and start that.
So, like, if someone wants to know what Frank's Red Hot really tastes like, good news. On this batch, they can go up and lick the bottle and be like, "Oh, okay, I would like to buy this product. You just sold extra bottles because of this mishap." That's capitalizing.
Let me ask you a question.
I'd rather you did.
If you're not watching this, check it out on the YouTube or Spotify.
Yeah.
But how are you not terrified of the open curtains behind you in the office?
I am on the second floor.
Yeah, that's
So
way scarier than if
if
somebody
someone
listens.
if you see someone in that window, that's terrifying. We
Yeah.
have a big problem. No, I mean this is the office. So normally these monitors are up higher, but I was just trying to move them and like it came crashing down and I didn't fix it because we had to do the podcast.
Yeah.
So that's my normal source of light during the day. I have another window over here behind the computer. But that's my normal source of light. Now that daylight savings happened over the weekend, I officially, like, when I work till 5:30, I now have daylight basically. Even on a cloudy day, I'm pretty solid for daylight now until the end of my day. So I just leave
Wow.
the curtains open, man. I got nothing to hide. Yeah, whatever. If people want to take a look at a live podcast being broadcast or being filmed, good for them.
Dude, the confidence. I love it.
Good for them.
Hey, knock on the door. Come ask what I'm doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's one of my favorite hobbies that I've developed over the last 10 to 15 years, especially just a
Looking
really
in
nice.
windows.
Love it.
Yeah.
Like if
That's
it's
not really a
nighttime,
hobby. That's stalking. Have the cops talked to you about your hobby a couple times?
they have it. We know they have it. As last episode, I've never been busted. Well, here's my thing.
Haven't been zero charges so far. They've been able to bring zero charges.
I don't like, peer in. I don't do the full on like zoom in, but I like to walk around. I like to see how other people live. It's the sociologist in me. I've never studied. But it is fun to walk around a neighborhood and just see like, hey, why is your computer like also on your kitchen table? And why are your kids not joining you for dinner? That kind of stuff. And why are your windows open to allow me to look in? I mean, I'm not going to stare, but I just gotta
can't
look.
help but if you see a TV from outside, you can't help
what the
but
fuck are you watching?
Hope to see and understand what they're watching, especially if it's like a movie or a TV show, and then judge the ever living shit out of them for the better or for worse, based on that one thing you know about them, which is that they may or may not enjoy that show that's on.
Every TV is so big now too; you can just see exactly.
And it's every TV is gigantic, and no TVs are big enough.
It's funny because I'll even watch stuff. It'd be like I'll drive by like on football day. Everybody's watching football, even if it's a game in New York. If it's like Bears and Niners, not even a local team, people are watching it. But I'll still judge them. I'll still be like, "Oh, you basic bitch." Watching a thing that I would watch too if I was home and not driving.
If I was home, I'd totally watch that, you fool.
What are you watching? The Bachelor on TV with the ads? You asshole! Watch it on Hulu, you dork! God, grow up,
you goddamn fool.
Oh yeah. What do you want to talk about today? What do we want to catch up with?
Do we want to jump into conversation dice? See how those roll?
That's right. Great. I just saw these here.
Okay. Let's
I
remind the folks at home what we left off our last episode
week,
with.
We rolled with our conversation dice the words daily, museum, and superpower.
There it
I'd say that's the most eclectic mix of words we've gotten so far.
Yeah.
I don't even know if to put them into one thing. Did you think of something that combines all of them?
No, because
yeah, it's ridiculous.
Who's going to museums daily? That's so.
A superhero, the Daily Planet, the Museum of Newspapers.
Okay.
There you go. But, well, let's get this out of the way.
Okay.
Superpower. Basic question. First date question. What's your superpower right now that you would choose, and has it changed in the last 10 to 15 years? What do you think it was back in the day?
Probably super strength. Back in the day.
Strength? Oh yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. That's what you want right now?
No, I think that's what it was back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I always was fascinated by I think being a bigger kid in general, like that, like it was kind of like always like the strength size of things would always be cool. And I always liked Colossus for like X-Men. Colossus was my jam. But I always was fascinated by the stronger characters, Hulk, Juggernaut, all those types of things. So superhero strength was always a big thing for me. Now, it's been for a while in my adult years. Like I don't know, like invisibility always comes to mind because like I don't know
The
that
girls' locker room.
I think that exactly, and that's the problem with mentioning it is that people are always like, yeah, like, oh, what do I do?
Porkies.
But no, I don't know. I think it's weird because I think there's part of it has to do with like anxiety and like slowing
Ooh.
things down and like disappearing, literally unable to be found by people. Like sometimes seems really appealing. Like how like if you've ever like lost a cell phone and like you're like, oh, I'm not going to get one till Monday and it's Friday and you realize you just had a weekend without being able to really be reached by by people. It's kind of a nice feeling. So sometimes like you think that being a superhero and being able to be invisible for a little bit would be just refreshing.
So would you use it to act like functionally like walk through public or do things and
Yeah,
like yeah.
100%. I mean, you're always going to do it for financial gain too. I'm not going to lie. Any
Yeah.
superpower you have, if you don't do it for financial gain, you're a damn fool.
What's the financial gain of invisibility?
I
I wonder
don't know, other
how
than
do you
like
use
robbing
that?
a bank, which is
That's
a pretty
basically it, yeah.
dishonest way
Yeah.
to do it. But like, I mean, you could feasibly use invisibility to kind of do. I'm trying to think of what you could do that isn't shisty,
Yeah.
but do it for financial gain. That's tough, but I'm sure there would be a way
You
to
could go to like the
monetize it.
Super Bowl and Tanya Harding, Patrick Mahomes' knee,
And that's part of it. Is like right,
put a bunch of money on the
you could
Eagles.
really
Yeah.
be a real terrible person and just hurt people.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a way to monetize it. There's a way to monetize anything of that for superpower wise. But I think it's I don't know. What's yours?
Mine probably was that in high school. Or like I always wanted to do the Zach Morris timeout. That would have been
Ooh,
fun. I don't know
interesting.
if that's a superpower per se, but a timeout, everybody else just freezes around you and you can talk to the camera. I guess it's there.
They've kind
But
of
you could
addressed
just
that in
it's a
some
great way to fuck
movies,
with people.
right?
Hmm?
They kind of did that in like Logan, right?
I don't know, I didn't see it. I'm an asshole. I'm so sorry.
Wow, what a
I'm so
pile of
sorry.
trash.
I
Dude,
disappointed you.
that's literally
Um,
like the best X-Men movie that was ever made.
I've heard.
It's
I
so
believe
cool.
it too.
See,
I just kind of accept that and don't watch it.
see
I
the
do want to watch it.
see the noir version. They do a black and white version. It's way
Really?
cooler. Yeah.
Mm,
But anyway,
I will.
um, now does that stop time or does that stop everyone's like conscious being around you? And does it work for inanimate
Ooh, good
objects?
point. So if you timed out, does time still go and you could just untime people in the evening or 2 months from now? Would they
Right.
shit themselves?
Which in theory then is it actually not stopping time because that's not an actual thing and it's just a construct? Are you just moving at an incredibly fast rate that everything is more or less seemingly stopped in time because you're moving at such a absurd rate?
Mm-hmm. That could be it too. We need to write somebody. Dear Mr. Belding,
Right.
we'll do
But
that.
but they never knew that they were being stopped. So Zach was obviously some sort of like omnipresence, like a demigod type character
Yeah.
in Saved by the Bell,
You don't
which
think
we
Belding
never.
went back and rewatched those?
What's that?
You don't think Belding went back and rewatched the documentary
Oh, yeah, they never
at
addressed it
Bayside
on the
High?
Zach attack.
Yeah. Uh, Podcast, shout out. I would want to fly, I think now. Just just seems really fun to like fly.
It
I
doesn't
mean, I
seem
guess I should say teleport. Like teleport's more efficient, just so you could go anywhere, but I think flying would knock off a couple things. Like just the sheer, I mean, what's more fun than flying? I mean, I don't know. I don't know because I've never done it. But being able to like go over a house,
my
being
my.
able to fly next to a house and look inside of it and all around it, get a 360-degree view would be amazing. But I think there's something about
So you want to be
if
a drone?
mm-hmm.
I don't
And
want
if
to do a
you
lot of
could,
flying,
I
but
want to
like
deliver
some.
packages for Amazon.
Yeah. Okay.
Just small, like 5 pounds or less, like sweaters, heavy
Sure.
sweaters, two
Sure.
sweaters.
Yeah.
But also getting, I feel like if I learned how to fly,
Mm.
it would help also another maybe an anxiety thing. Like, it help you like overcome a lot of other like if you could conquer the fear of flying without anything around you, without the bus in the sky or like some safety stuff around you. Just be in a different space that would be uncomfortable, and then you conquer it. I'd be like, I can do anything. I mean, everybody's gonna see me. I'm not gonna be invisible,
The
but
weird thing with flight compared to other things is like what is that? A lot of superpowers is like what would that sensation be, right? Because you never the superheroes that are flying are not like Angel where they're actually like flapping wings and stuff. Like
yeah.
they're just hovering and stuff. So it's like, how do you make it go? What is the sensation? How do you speed up? Is there a speed
Mm.
up? Like they seem to have great control over it, but what does that mean? What is it? How is it happening?
I think it would feel like whatever you feel like in a roller coaster, but you have control over it. So I don't know how it works exactly, or like when the car windows are down, you just feel that. I don't know how it's propelled. I mean,
Hmm.
if I knew, if somebody knew, we'd be doing it. But um, if you ever felt, one of my most recurring dreams is driving off of a bridge and feeling it into
Like
the
the
water.
plummet?
Yeah, but in a car for something like driving up the side of a bridge that has like a copper or whatever iron kind of side, and you like kind of go up the side of it, and then you like drive off, so you get a little bit of lift, a little bit of ramp up, and then you like go over the edge, so you get that
Are you
extra
talking about
height.
like a suspension bridge? Like you'd be going up like
Not exact. It's
the
more like
side of
an
the Golden
iron.
Gate?
Yeah,
What?
I mean, sort of, but it's just like more of a. I mean, it's more like a dome shape, an arch shape, but made of like copper metal, something like that.
So
Um,
your dream leads you up like edged kind of
mm-hmm,
and then
mm-hmm.
plummeting?
Yeah, and I feel it. I always wake up, but how
I
realistic
I
does that
always
feel?
wake up. Yes, you do. You're here.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't it feel realistic for that 2 seconds? I guess whatever your mind thinks that it is, right? Whatever the feeling of falling that far.
Yeah, dude. It's weird. I don't like it.
I would like. What's the furthest you've ever fallen? Do you think,
Ooh.
or jumped?
Jumped.
I
Not.
remember. Well, there's two things. I remember being at SUNY Oswego when we were like 20
Yeah.
in the winter, playing a bunch of beer pong, and then we were gonna go to the bars. And there
Yeah.
was a big snow mound outside your house because it had snowed, and it got plowed up. I went to the top and then jumped off of that. It was probably like 6 feet, and I was like, "Wow, that was really stupid. I definitely could have just broken my knee or my ankle."
Yeah,
I've
that'll
probably
happen.
done like 15 feet. No, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like water.
I
I don't
yeah,
know,
I would
double
say
digits for water.
mine was probably into a snow pile at Oswego next to the dorms. So like when we would walk into the dorms, this is at Oneida Hall. You walk into the dorm on the second level, and so if you look at the dorm off to the left, there'd be this um, kind of like a railing made of like concrete, and if you looked over, it went down to the ground about 15 20 feet maybe, and the snow was so bad during the snowstorm that it piled up like 6 7 feet. So it just launched ourselves into the
Yeah.
snow like off of
That's the
this.
great early 20s um, feeling, college drunk feeling of that snow doesn't hurt, just like water,
Yeah.
which could
Well,
hurt too.
one
Because it's,
girl had jumped in and like was afraid, so she like instead of jumping and sprawling out Snow Angel, she jumped in feet first and just went right disappeared into the snow, and so we had to
yeah,
like dig her out. Yeah.
nice.
So that was probably it. I mean, I've never jumped really high into water. I've never jumped off, not even like the high dive at like Casey Park or anything like that. That's not my ish. So I would say probably jumping about, 15, maybe a little bit more than 15 into a snowbank.
What's your favorite museum? Have you been
Um,
to one? I think
yeah.
Philly's got to have some, right?
Philly's got the one that the Rocky statue is outside of.
Oh, the art
Um,
museum.
the art
Actually,
museum.
yeah, I went to Philly once and did the run up that.
So I've been there a couple times. They have like rotating displays, not displays. What am I trying to say? Like rotating
Exhibits.
exhibits. Thank you. Yes. So I've been
Yes,
there for
hit
a
my
Harry
ride.
Potter one. Went there for a Marvel one. Um, so yeah, I enjoyed that. I'm not a huge museum guy, but I would say my favorite museum I've been to is the, and I think this would qualify. Probably Cooperstown, probably the Baseball Hall of Fame, and then the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was pretty fun too. So those are the two museums I enjoyed the most.
Somehow, I mean, I've never been to the baseball one. I don't know if I still would. I mean, I guess I would go if I was there and somebody wanted me to go. It seems like it's pretty cool. Rock and roll, I think I went to at one point in
I
like
like that you
sixth
think you
grade,
went. Oh,
and I bought a Matchbox 20 CD.
Yourself or
They have a
Someone
s-
Like You.
Yeah,
It's a great album.
I know. 3 a.m. I must be lonely. When I lived in D.C., I mean, I think
They
you
have museums
probably
there?
know this. The all the Smithsonian's are free. That's one of the greatest treasures of our country. Is that the Smithsonian museums are free. So they've got the modern art, or historical art, whatever they call it, classical art, um, science, different American histories, like tons of stuff. The zoo there, the Smithsonian Zoo is free to walk through. I used to just take the metro there and walk through on a Saturday morning, just to walk, just to chill. But I remember my favorite is the Natural History Museum there. They have all these like stuff. They have like this great mammal exhibit. When you walk in, there's like a huge elephant. What I remember most is one day I went through there, like just a weekend morning again. Um, I was walking in the lobby by the elephant, and all of a sudden I realized I was the only one moving. I was like walking through people, and they were all like frozen. And I was like,
Why?
"What the fuck is going on?" I thought I was like almost had a panic attack. So I was like, "Is this real life? Is this happening?" You know, David the dentist, and all of a sudden somebody goes, I don't remember what they said, but they just everybody started clapping like, yay. It was like a flash mob that was happening. And I was apparently the only one that didn't realize that everybody was just I was in my own world, just walking through people that were all frozen in time, doing their own flash mob at the at the history
Wait,
museum.
they being frozen was the flash mob?
Everybody like was in a pose, just stopped. All of a sudden, I didn't realize it. I was just like, well, I did. I mean, it took me a while, but I was like going around people, like nobody was moving.
But,
And I was like
but
the only
you
one on
also
the
didn't
ground.
see anyone else not.
Well, once I realized that, I was like, "What the fuck is happening? Like, am I in trouble?" I don't know what I'd be in trouble for. But I was like, "Are these people alive? Are these people stuffed? Is this like, this is the
Dude,
worst mammal exhibit ever?"
and how old
It's
were
real
you?
people. 23.
Dude, imagine if that was the day that you're like, I'm going to go into the museum, but I'm going to enjoy some recreational items before I go in. Like, imagine going in and experiencing that. You probably would have lost your effing mind.
Well, I did. I was definitely probably a little stoned,
Okay.
but just recreationally, not like super. You know,
Right. You're all
just
right. I was going to say, I'm
mildly.
like, that could be exponentially
That's
more
why.
intense.
That's probably why it took me a second to realize, but then also for a moment I didn't know, and I was like, "What?" So flash mobs had a moment there. Did you ever engage in a flash mob, or do you have any flash mob memories?
No, I never engaged in a flash mob. Absolutely would have, if the situation arose.
I was definitely involved in a
One
pretty.
1 second.
Oh, we got a call. First call. First live call.
Hello.
Hi, honey. I won't keep you long, but I just wanted to let you know when you were talking, I was smiling at your podcast last week because guess who the person is that wrote "Yikes" on Ken's YouTube?
That's Mama Worden.
It was me.
What?
Because Dad must have the YouTube account under his name when we set up like the TV or something. I don't know why it's under Ken. But
So,
like I go to
YouTube. So, Mom, you were the Ken that put yikes on YouTube?
Absolutely. But I didn't mean it to go under Ken. I'm on YouTube, and
Dude,
that's
what
how
a
I watch
breaking
your
story
podcast. I
live.
go to YouTube, and it's just easier for me to pull it up. And I just go there,
Ha.
and now, so that was me. And I said, yikes, because when you said next week when Matt pulls out
She
the
said,
3
"Yikes."
words, and you're
Yeah.
going to say you're going to talk about your mom, that's why I go, yikes.
Oh boy.
And did you?
So Ken
your
is
last,
Sharon.
Episode 6 was called Yikes, right?
Yeah, episode 6 was called Yikes.
Episode 6, Yikes.
Absolutely it. All right.
So
Hey,
yeah.
hey, I gotta go. I'll give you a call in a little bit.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Bye. Wow.
Well, damn, what are the odds of that?
We solved who Ken was, who
solved
YouTube
the
Ken was,
great-
and it's my
Yeah.
mom.
The
So
great Ken Conundrum. So did she must have just watched it? It's like-
yeah. So there you have it. Sorry, it was
so she
important.
said she was watching it on the TV. Right?
Yeah.
So she didn't know it was signed under Ken, your dad, but also she commented through the TV, which means she had to use the remote probably to go
I
up and
guess.
down.
I
to,
don't
like,
know.
spell
Yeah, this
out.
is gonna.
Like, she commented through YouTube on
Yeah,
TV with the remote.
I
Yeah.
have.
And it called in during the episode. I'm
Yeah.
so glad it went that way.
I was gonna ignore the call, and I'm like, no, let's answer this
Yeah.
and just see how it goes. But she
Oh, it's so
she
perfect.
opened up into it. So boy, it's gonna be interesting when she hears this episode and finds out that she
Yeah.
was on an episode.
She's a star.
So yeah, as you were.
I was in a flash mob.
Oh, okay.
Not like inside the one in the museum, but it was like 2011 or something like that. It was at the University of Texas, the international office. And it's like one of those things that's fun when things that are lame can be fun in an office setting. You know, like, you know how everything's dumbed down in an office setting where it's like things that you wouldn't normally do in real life all of a sudden are fun because it's at work. So yeah, one would be being in a flash mob. So our hilarious idea was, hey, you guys, at the next general meeting of the whole office, you know, all the different divisions, our division will wear purple shirts. All of us. Oh my God. And then everyone would be like, wait, you guys are all wearing purple. Hey, you know what? Let's double down. When everybody else walks into the meeting, let's give them high fives. Oh my God, they're going to go insane. This is so, let's disrupt the system. Fuck the man. Yeah. It was like the lamest thing.
Oh my God.
We were like,
so
I don't know why.
lame.
I was really jazzed about it too, because it's like, I mean, what else is there to be jazzed about at like an office setting, except for stuff like that?
There's not, man. Like, that's the tough thing. That's the tough thing with office humor is the tough part about, so like in my job is, you know, working for an insurance, and there's a lot of different movement in the company. So like I might be on new teams and stuff like that. And when you have to move around the job, you know, re-meeting new people at the office, you always have to like dip your toe in the water as to what can I joke about. Like what humor is accepted, not like what humor do people find funny, but also how much inappropriate shit can I get away with saying and not be reported to HR? Like, and that's, I liked playing that game to an extent, but it was kind of like exhausting too, because you're like, oh, a new person. Okay, can I say this? Can I say this? Can I say this? And stuff gets more and more fucked up. But
it's like, who's going to be the person that would go to HR and report me? I mean, legitimately, you know.
Oh, you can usually if it's the person, you can spot the person pretty quick.
Yeah.
And if you're that person, you're probably not listening to our podcast, because there's no way you would find anything of what we're saying to be okay or tolerable or interesting.
You're not one of the 44.
Nope.
Right?
Nope. You are not in the StrangeFam.
Get out of here. We don't need 45, all right?
No.
Turn around. Turn your ears around and get out of here. I do remember in that there was one of the team leaders or whatever, directors of one of the divisions came in.
Yeah.
And we were doing a high five, and she was like, I'm okay. And we were just like,
who turns
remember
down
for a minute, we were like,
fives?
what a bitch. But now part of me sort of gets it, because she's like, nah. But part of me was like, you're just jealous that you didn't come up with this, and your team doesn't do really fun things like wear purple shirts on a day to a meeting.
Yeah, I mean that's really breaking the walls down.
Way to knock us down when we're having a great time.
Yeah. Maybe
what do you
great,
do now?
Your great time should be you should have a better great time.
Yeah, I know. How about for this? This month we celebrate everybody's birthday at once. We do these like spot, like I actually, okay, here, I'll tell you this. You definitely don't know this about me. So
okay.
I basically, as I'm making fun of this, I was probably sort of instrumental in starting this thing. Because I was like, I got to start having fun at work. Whatever the boundaries are at an office space, like, I don't like this going to the cubicle every day. So I started like a thing, what would you call it? Like workplace satisfaction. It was basically like, hey, how can you enjoy your job more And before you say more money, there's not more money. All right. So anything besides that. So we did like a bunch of stuff. So it was like the coach slash shortstop of the softball team that we won, the UT Staff League softball team.
Sure.
Yeah, who cares? Just it's a big trophy that looks like a giant baseball glove. Sat on my desk for like a year. Greatest moment of my life. Whatever. Okay, that notwithstanding,
Uh-huh.
we did a bunch of like spotlights and like that yoga thing was probably part of it. Like we did a bunch of I can't even think of it because honestly, I just want more money now when I think about it. It's like more money and more free time is what I want. But what we did worked so well that I think I pitched it for like a national conference as an idea to like for office places to like not use money to try to increase morale at work, and it got picked up. So I did a presentation at Puerto Rico at a conference about this. I went there for it. And then from there there was like a regional conference for like international educators, and it got voted so highly that I got selected to go to like the national conference in St. Louis to present it. And I presented this conference about workplace satisfaction in front of like 400 people.
Wait, really?
Yeah, yeah. And I drove there. I drove there with my buddy Brett. We drove from Austin to St. Louis. It was right after I quit working at UT, so it's perfect timing. I didn't tell anybody that, and then so I was like, "Shit, I already put in my 2 weeks, or it might have been 2 months or 3 months. I don't know. I was like kind of over working there, but I was like, I still want to do this like conference thing that I got selected for. So Brett and I drove through St. Louis, or into St. Louis. I remember because we crossed
so this
the border.
is at a UT thing or no?
Yeah, it was a UT program that then I pitched towards like a regional thing. So it basically took what I helped create at UT for our office and then pitch it as an idea for other universities and other programs.
So this trip, this is not a UT thing. It originated it from your job at UT, but this trip
got selected as it was called like whatever. It's like whatever the international, because we were in the international education industry. It was like that overarching like national board type of thing. So yeah, then the national conference was in St. Louis. We drove there. I remember speaking of cops from the last episode.
Yeah.
I remember it was raining out. Brett and I were in the hotel. We decided to go smoke in the car. It was raining out. Basically hotboxed the car, and a cop started driving around in a circle around us, basically in the parking lot. We're like, oh, we're fucked. We're fucked. And we just like lean the chair back. It's like,
is that the same cop? We're in a parking lot. Of course, it's the same cop.
So he's probably fucking with us. But then the next day, sure enough, nailed a presentation to great reviews. Like, hey, where do you work? And it's like, nowhere now.
Free agent. Why?
I don't go there anymore. Yeah, are you hiring? And probably the most memorable part of it is the girl that I was doing with it. Her name was Tina. She was like my co-presenter. At the beginning, we would like get a dance party going.
Sure.
You know, kind of like at the beginning of our episodes. Get the dance going, get the body moving, start feeling it. So we do that song, whatever it is, like, I love it. I don't care. I love it. We get people like eventually you get people standing up. And she started going around like tossing candy to people. You know, again, basic bitch office stuff. Everybody likes candy. Everybody likes candy. But she started going around. I gotta find the video because she was like fastball chucking it into people's faces, not on purpose, but I don't think she did know how to throw as well. She was like 2 feet away from somebody. She was just like launching it into their faces. It was so fun. But yeah, I was really into the that kind of racket, the motivation racket for a second.
I thought that was going to be the next career move.
Well, here's my greatest idea that I've ever come up with, and I'll share it with you now. The way I finished every presentation like that of the workplace satisfaction, how to make yourself happier. I came up with this concept of, it's called the wishes, like Aladdin. I don't know if I came up with this with somebody, let me know. I think it's mostly my idea. It might be all my idea. I don't know.
Oh boy.
I didn't steal it from anybody. If anything,
no, it's fine.
Somebody else. Yeah. But it was this idea of wishes and like having 3 wishes.
No. Genies came up with that. You didn't come up with that.
What if we really have wishes when we're born? You know, you guys out in that crowd there. Okay. Listen, I know you're not happy with your jobs. This is how we reclaim our happiness. Imagine this idea of witches. imagine witches. They're awesome. 3 3 wishes, but we waste them on shit, you know? We waste it real early on because we're like, man, I wish I had a ham and cheese sandwich right now. So we just toss it out. We say we wish for things that, you know, we can have. A little bit of effort gets us that wish. Save those wishes, all right? Save those grand wishes for something else. All the other things that you can achieve, do it, all right? Would you want the ham and cheese sandwich? Stand up and walk and get it, all right? Don't leave it out in the ether. You can achieve anything, ham and cheese or otherwise. But that was basically the pitch. Like, don't waste your wishes. I feel like this might have been Brett involved in this too, but
You guys
yeah,
came
don't
up
waste
with this
wishes
when
on
you were
stupid
high,
shit.
didn't you?
Because also when you say you wish something, you put it out into the ether and you don't even do it. You know, a wish just goes away in the wind. I just came up with that. But that was always my big
Trademark TM.
finale. Was yeah, don't wish for something, just do it. That was before Shia LaBeouf, I'm pretty sure too. But
I'm
sorry, I
confused.
just
Your
really
pitch just
hijacked
told us to wish for stuff, but then don't wish.
well,
Just
don't.
do it.
Well, if you're gonna wish, save it. You know, like I wish that I could fly and be invisible. 2 wishes. I'll use them right now. Not all the time. Not all the time. I wish I wasn't invisible all the time.
No.
Oh no. Shit. Oh fuck.
Yeah. Trust me, wishes that's like the only thing we learn from movies and TV is that if you're not specific with your wish, it's going to come back and screw you over. Think of like Aladdin and was it Bedazzled and the monkey paw from The Simpsons, like Halloween, like yeah, Treehouse of Horror, like number 4 when they had the monkey paw. So like all of these things tell us if you wish and aren't specific, it's gonna come back and bite you in the ass. Except for Aladdin, everything actually turned out fine for him.
Yeah, I think it was great.
Yeah.
Except for was that guy Robin Williams? That didn't work out.
Boo. Boo.
What?
Too soon.
You would think it's hilarious.
Too soon.
It was a run by fruiting.
Okay, well that's gonna give me a chuckle.
Have you ever? I would say for me, like doing that stuff probably made me the happiest in a way at work of like doing something because it was like I got to do it. It was like in a way like my creative thing in this whatever setting this is where I have to do this shit. At least I got to like over in this field do this other thing as part of it too. So it made me really happy to do it and like people took to it. So I would say that was like one of my most memorable professional accomplishments in the last 15 years or so.
Okay.
Do you have anything like that?
For professional accomplishments?
Yeah, any work what's made you the proudest at work? I mean, not necessarily that it wasn't directly involved with the work that you did, but
I had a small thing that implemented at this is about 5-6 years ago when I first became a trainer, and we were trying to think. I basically just came up with an idea of like assessing people's personalities and their training results kind of over like 4 or 5 weeks, but not by like grades, because we did grade people at my old job on their trainings, but also like what I put together was I put together kind of like a personality spreadsheet. Like, hey, they seem to struggle with this, they like to do this, and they receive information well this way and that way. And I made like a personality assessment for all these people just on a whim, honestly, because I was bored and I thought that it was kind of an interesting task to do. And I presented them to my boss. I said, hey, I'd like to give these to their supervisors that are going to be out on the floor. And my boss is like, where'd you come up with this shit? And I'm like, I don't know, I just felt like doing it. And he goes, this is great. And literally like that day he like emailed out the rest of the trainers. He's like, hey guys, here's the thing Jeff came up with. He goes, guess what? This is the new like requirement that I want everyone to do. Like it was a really quick turnaround. I'm not even sure he had the authority to make that a thing so quick, but like it was
probably wanted to take a little credit for it. You know?
Yeah, it was cool to do that because
look out Myers-Briggs, look out disc assessment.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh my God, disc assessment. I'm like, you're a green personality. Like that stuff. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, but it was cool because I had really aspired to be a trainer, and it was nice to have something implemented as a new standard. But more so, what I liked about it is that it took away our shitty concept of grading people with numbers, and was just, hey, this is what these people, like, this is how they learn well, and this is what this type of personality, because it's nice to have that kind of heads up, and you're not like evaluating, seeing someone's wrong or right. It's just acknowledging that people have different personalities, different adaptabilities to learning and stuff like that. So it was, prideful that that got taken into consideration,
Dude,
um,
that's really cool.
for that kind of thing. So,
I feel like it's hard. It's hard for a workplace. Well, not hard, but most workplaces don't take the time to consider the humanity of the labor. I think
no, I mean,
so.
that's why I left. That's why I left a job after a decade of of being there, and I took less pay and a lower position to change companies because of culture, and the new company is worlds apart. They treat people a lot better. I don't really like to say like the company treats people well, but they seem to be sticking by it, because I haven't really like, a lot of companies will preach bullshit, forward thinking and stuff, and then they're like, JK, LOL, fuck off.
Yeah.
But I've had no complaints about my new employer, and uh, I don't know how much companies really give a shit about people. I'm pretty pessimistic when it comes to that stuff. I think companies are there to profit, and if they have to go through souls on the way through, like, so be it. Um, but I've been lucky enough that a lot of people I've worked with at the new company are very much not like that. Managers, directors, and stuff like that. So they seem to be embodying it, but I'm always going to look out for myself as opposed to the wellness of the company, because the company will survive without me. So I don't think they're ever looking out for me. People might care about me at the company, but the company doesn't give a shit about me, and I always keep that in check, because then I it makes me remember that I have to look out for myself, and not for the, this is, being a good company guy, because I tried that before and it's bullshit.
Yeah, the I try to tell the people at work too, like if they're gonna call out sick or not come in. I mean, it depends. Like sometimes I'll be like, dude, you're the person that misses like a day a week. Like you're still gonna miss another day. But ultimately, it's like, guess what? This company's gonna be okay without you.
Yep.
It's hard for people to know that. It's the weirdest part. I think The Office actually did a really good job of capturing this, like in that Michael Scott season where he leaves and he's like, it's like his last day because you all felt that the last day at your job, and everybody around you is talking about tomorrow or next week or like ordering paper for the next shipment, and you're like, I'm
uh,
not part of this anymore. And
yeah.
it's such a weird feeling to have that,
Yeah.
where that foot out the door and the world's still going to be going on no matter how much you put into it or how much you were a part of it. That everything, there's inertia, there's just life inertia and people inertia, and everything else keeps moving whether you're there or you're not. And it's, I don't know, is that depressing? I don't know. Or
Yeah.
maybe if you can harness that.
Your tomorrow is going to be so significantly different, and the company's tomorrow
Yeah.
is going to be nothing different.
Yep. Yeah. um I guess in a way it could be inspiring because you could be like, well, let me leave my stamp here, then make sure it's worth it. All my days here I spend, I at least like have some kind of connection with these people, so they'll have some kind of memory of me or our interactions with each other.
Yeah.
um Otherwise it's like, what's the point, man? What's the point? Got all this money, not all this money, but got curtains that don't fully close behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just a man with some open curtains.
yeah.
So you highlighted something on our little note page. Is that what right?
Oh, the sports.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Yeah, I remember you made that list.
Yeah.
Like
Good for
this
you.
idea of live sporting events slash sports fandom changes intensity.
Yeah.
I like particularly the idea of like the changes in intensity and fandom and what that means. What's your take on that? Because I know you had written that. You wrote that note, so I was
Yeah. So
curious.
like, I figured in the time that we knew each other, so I watched sports growing up, but I was never a major fan. I was a Yankee fan. I liked, I was exposed to Giants and Raiders because of my parents. I didn't, you were my exposure to hockey, literally. Hockey in Central New York, not drastically. People played hockey, but I feel like the only people that watched NHL were people who played hockey.
Right. Yeah.
In Central New York. So
Small community.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, professional basketball. I don't know. Every kid liked to wear Charlotte Hornets gear and liked Michael Jordan. Like the end.
Alonzo.
Yeah. So like, yeah, like so. College though, you know, got to college and was exposed to just happen to, the guys on my floor for freshman year were really into football. So I started getting back into watching football like big time, more religiously. And then somewhere around, I watched the Yankees Diamondbacks, obviously, series, and kept watching sparingly. But then around like 03, 04, a couple of my fraternity brothers were just like more and more guys got added in, and like we just found ourselves watching baseball, and like everyone wanted to keep talking about baseball, so everyone watched more and more. So like our fandom worked off of each other, and I blacked out and woke up and was a spaz for Yankees. Now, hockey didn't happen for me until I moved to Buffalo. I had to be in a hockey city, and Buffalo, you get to Buffalo and they're like, we like the Bills and we like the Sabres. Oh yeah, do you like baseball? Fuck baseball. Like no one at work wanted to talk about baseball ever with me. Now they have a AAA, the Buffalo Bisons, but that was more of a novelty. No one gave a shit about professional baseball.
That's just something you do between football and hockey seasons. Yeah.
And so I'm just like, I got to start watching the Sabres. I'm like, I just have to start watching hockey because I want to see what this is all about. And the Sabres went to the playoffs the first year I was in Buffalo, and that's the last time they went to the playoffs. So I've literally jumped onto the Buffalo fandom as they fell apart and have literally been a dumpster fire since I've been a fan for the last 12 years. But yeah, going to the Flyers game on Friday in Philly.
Oh yeah.
So
who are they playing?
What's that?
Who are they playing?
It's Flyers Sabres.
Oh, the Flyers Sabres.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So I'm going to the game on Friday. Sabres just had a really solid win in Toronto last night. Mm-hmm. Bruins just got their 50th win in 64 games or whatever the crap it is.
They're doing well. I'm not going to jinx it. Here, I got my, you can see it somewhere back there, my Bruins Winter Classic jersey.
Yeah. Straight
behind me. Went to that this year. Probably one of my favorite sporting events I've ever attended at Fenway Park. Bruins Penguins this year, the outdoor game. Yeah, I'm all Bruins now. I'm definitely, I like this idea though of the changing over the years of intensity and fandom. Because I remember growing up, I was big Yankees. Big Bruins from my dad and playing hockey. Then big Yankees from my grandfather. But then I just kind of like, I'm still a fair weather Yankees fan. Probably moving away, living in Texas took some of that away. Because it's, up here, it's like everybody's into it all year. Like, same with like Syracuse or college basketball, any of that, whatever. I'm more of a UT or Texas fan, college sports now. But ultimately, I only have the energy and the passion for one sport and one team now. It's the Bruins. I get the NHL package. Like, that's all I can, like, I'll cheer for the Giants. I'll cheer for the Yanks. But I'm a fair weather fan. I'll follow it and I'll watch the games. My two favorite teams are the Bruins and my fantasy football team. I'd rather my fantasy football team win than even other teams. And it's like, the reason is I can't bleed so much energy and like passion all seasons anymore. I can't, like, it's like I was so into it for so long. I remember at college, like watching Living and Dying by like Yankees playoffs games and stuff like that. And it just, after their great like 5-6 year span, and then just not, I was like, I can't. The season's so long. I can't do it anymore. So I can't put it. I also remember when I was in Texas living with my first girlfriend. I think the Giants lost to the Eagles in a playoff game. And I was talking to her, and I could just see the look on her face of how bummed out she was that I was so massively. I was like, I walked to a park and just swung on a swing by myself alone because they lost a playoff game, which to me seemed like a normal response. And she was like, "What are you doing?" Like, I was like, "The Giants lost." Right. I was like,
I'm so emotionally invested.
Yeah, I know. She was like so bummed out. And I was like, that one moment didn't do it, but I was like,
looking back,
I
you're
gotta
like,
diversify.
yeah,
I gotta
get it.
diversify my emotional portfolio here. It's like, this girl sees me like living and dying
Yeah.
by this game, and like never see me express any kind of emotion like that to her, and she's just like, "What the fuck, man?" I'm like, "Okay, I could like." So it took me, I would say, over the last decade, it's kind of like funneled into the bees. That's where I put my energy. I love sports still. I don't really watch Sports Center, but I love sports moments still. I love the story of sports, sports documentaries. When I watch fishing, I like to watch golf. I'm a very avid sports gambler in New York State. I love getting on some Caesar Sportsbook and like popping $5 here and there. So I still love sport competition, the Olympics, anything. I'll jump onto it, but I can't. I just don't like the fandom and intensity for multiple teams has waned. And I'm okay with it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I even followed the 76ers because I'm like, all right, I'll have one local. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I got a spot open on my fandom sheet for
Yeah.
NBA team. So yeah, I support the Sixers. But yeah, man, I mean, as far as a kid, like with the hockey thing, if you asked me, like, name a professional hockey player, I could tell you like the easy ones. Basically, you either had to be Wayne Gretzky, Brett Hull,
Oh, nice pull.
anyone on like the Detroit Red Wings, because on Super NES playing like NHL 96, they were like the
Stevie
sure
Yzerman or
thing.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah, like Steve
Yeah, yeah.
Yzerman.
Yeah. Dude, mid-90s NHLs were
And
fucking
then
really good.
and then Ray Bork because of the
Yes,
because of
there
the
it is.
poster in your freaking room, the Secretary of Defense.
Dude, do you remember that?
Ray Bork poster. Look it up, folks, on Google, because I did like a year ago. I'm like, I wonder if I
Bruins
Google Ray
legend.
Bork, Secretary of
Let me
Defense,
see
and you
if I
can
can
pull
find
that
this.
poster.
It's the stupid. You know, it's so stupid that I didn't even understand what. Like, I think my mom got me that poster.
Yeah.
Because he was a defenseman for the Boston Bruins.
Right.
He won a lot of awards. He's one of the greatest defensemen in the NHL history. Yeah, here it is.
He's got his majestic mullet, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but there was this poster, and I had it in my bedroom.
Yep.
I didn't know Secretary of Defense was like a real thing in like the government.
Right.
Because I was like, why is he a secretary if he's like the best defenseman? Is that a secretary of
Shouldn't he
defense?
just be the defender?
I'm an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, we'll do. Yeah, let me just show you because it's shit.
But it also, while you're pulling that up, it just reminds me of. There it is. Oh,
I had this poster in my bedroom.
It is
the Secretary of Defense with this mullet and the military uniform. Utterly ridiculous.
But it reminds me, man, is that what was it? Our senior year, maybe.
Oh, by the way, this poster back here.
Yeah.
It's a Stanley Cup. I don't know if you can see it very well. Signed by Ray Bork. Got it signed in 2001. He visited Colgate University for like a hockey tournament. Got him to sign it. Worst, I was such a bozo. Because I was calling. I did like intermission reports at the hockey games for Colgate TV.
Okay.
Like I was like the, analyst. And I walked into the press box and I was like, excuse me, Mr. Bork.
Did you?
Your name belongs on this.
You are one
so bad.
loser.
And he was like so dismissive, and it bummed me out. He was like, all right. And he did it. And I was so bummed for a while. And I was like, of course, he's just like, he's in his own box. And I just walked up to him and was like such a dork. It's not like I was a little kid either. I was like, 20 years old.
When
like, excuse me.
I was at your house when the Colorado Avalanche
2001
won the Stanley Cup, and
my dad ripped his shirt
your
off.
Your
dad
ripped his shirt off and ran outside.
Never done anything like that before or after.
Because Ray Bork had finally won a cup, and I'm like, man, that is just a side of your dad that I had never seen. I'm like, I've never seen your dad that thrilled.
Dude,
He's
we
not
were all
that
in
guy.
on that. Yeah.
So it was wild.
I did step on something you were thinking about though before I talked about the Stanley Cup. We were talking about the Secretary of Defense poster.
Yeah.
And then
that was the Ray Bork story of your dad running out.
Yeah,
that was the thing. Like, that's my hockey exposure growing up.
I got to remind him of that. He'll remember it for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was there for that. That was a magical. That's a magical.
Awesome.
That's a magical moment. Um,
All right. Well, now I got to see your dad with his shirt off. Deal's a
Interesting.
deal. Got to be equal.
Well, he's got a YouTube
Cammy.
channel, so feel free to
He
subscribe.
does.
Maybe he's got something on there.
Any quick hot recommendations for the week?
Oh shit, I had one too. That I was thinking of.
I tried something this week. I'll
Okay.
recommend. See, this is like it was new to me. I had just discovered it.
Yeah.
But the best way to reheat pizza.
Yeah.
When I have an air fryer, I've used the oven,
Yeah.
but I just discovered the frying pan reheat method. Have you ever reheated it?
In a frying pan?
Pizza? Yeah.
No.
Recommend it. The best way I've ever done it. So
Is the frying pan
put it.
covered?
You can only do like 2 slices at a time, but get like a frying pan.
And you cover it?
Set it. Yeah. So we'll set it on medium.
Okay.
Put the 2 slices on
Yeah.
there for like 4 minutes. Then put in like a tablespoon or less of water and cover it
To get the cheese
for like
melty.
another. Set the heat down a little. It's like the perfect combo of the crust being crispy and the cheese being melty. Dude, I swear.
I'm
by
gonna
it.
try
The first
that.
time I did it, okay. The second time I nailed it, and I was like,
I'm gonna
I almost
try
want
it,
pizza
and
like this.
I'm skeptical, but
You've heard of it? Okay.
optimistic. So I'm gonna.
I had heard of it,
I'm
but
gonna try that.
this week was the first time I tried it, and I highly recommend it.
Wow. All right.
I mean, the
I dig
highest
that.
recommendations.
I dig that. I'm gonna. I found my rec, and it was gonna be crossword puzzles.
Yeah, dude.
Big fan. I do them before I go to sleep. It's kind of like a wind
Digital
down.
or
No.
pen and paper,
It has to
analog?
be a book. Has to be book and pencil.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. It was a way to get me off of like screen time when I don't feel like reading. So like I like the fact that I get to use my brain and do them. I'm not good at them really. I try to do I do medium, and I would say on average I can finish like 60 to 70%. So I'm not great at them. You do find out that when you do them, there's certain makes of them obviously do repetitious things. So you'll see like clues over and over and over again for the ease of filling in spots. But I do enjoy crosswords. I think I'm not sure how popular they are nowadays. Obviously, I never did them as a kid or even really in my young adult years. I picked them up after the age of 30 as like a bedtime type thing. But big proponent of crosswords if you're ever looking for something to give yourself something to do to wind down from the day that's not screen time.
Yeah, I think like I've done some with my family here and there. Like it's a good family or like couples or friend activity if you just need to do something away from the TV or you just got like 30 minutes to kill just hanging out. A crossword book or another. I have like a similar like it's got like a bunch of puzzles in a book, and I use it. I bring it on planes or like I keep it at night.
Planes are a big one.
Yeah, kind of. Also, like if I feel anxious at all or anything, it's like just focus on something. Focus on a puzzle. Word puzzles I like. Crosswords, especially once you start getting into some crosswords, you start to learn all their little rules. They got this little community with all these little rules that you don't know until you start doing them. After like your first 10 to 15, 20, you're like, oh, I get it now. Like I see the clue is a clue itself.
Yeah.
And then you start to put it all together. I like it.
Yeah.
Get a little pen and paper in your life. I was thinking today, I don't know if I was watching a movie or a show, but somebody had like a coloring book, and it's whatever, an adult coloring book because it's more complex, whatever that means. But I was like, should I just have one of those on my coffee table just to like kill time, or just so I could get some colored pencils again, just to like occupy my brain so I don't start thinking about like when's my next fake heart attack gonna be, when am I gonna like just have that like when my shoulder gonna fully rip itself off, when am I gonna die basically.
Okay.
All those thoughts that creep into your head
Sure.
at 3 a.m. like get up and just use that coloring book.
Maybe I'll just color instead.
I know, right? That seems way more fun.
I'd like to contemplate my own mortality right now.
Yeah.
Or I could color this bumblebee. I'll color the bumblebee.
Actually, so one of the things I got into this week too, it was $1.99 on the Switch. I got a fishing video game. I haven't had one of those since Super Nintendo.
Impressive.
But I got it. It's not. There's no game to it. You just reel it in. There's little codes. It's almost like Mortal Kombat codes for the lure. Then you just reel it in. You fight the fish, and it comes in, and it's like, oh, cool. I'm tired now. Nice. Let's go. Yeah.
Oh wow, that was a pretty big fish.
That's my first northern pike.
Hooray!
Yeah, I like that. I like that kind of the vibey things, just little activities to occupy your mind that
Yeah.
aren't like crosswords. You know what? This week I'm going to do a crossword.
Nice.
Cool. All right.
Let's get those conversation die. See what we're working with next week.
I'll have to look. I'm going to look up new versions of this week too. So we're running out of words. There's got to be just a random word thing. Still got to look that up. All right. Friends, StrangeFam. We don't see you out there, Matt Grover, commenting on our
Grover
YouTube channel. We see you. Hey, StrangeFam, that's the most important thing, is we acknowledge you.
Absolutely.
You are seen.
Another big Yankee fan.
All right. Word number 1, disaster.
Perfect. So we can talk about the podcast.
Word number 2 was, the first thing I saw was the system.
Ooh.
Don't know what that means.
We're going to get into some Fight Club.
Body of water.
Interesting
Body
twist.
of water, the system, disaster. I do have a story for body of water and disaster, but we'll save it. Hey, there's your cliffhanger, fellas. Hey, you guys want to hear about body of water and disaster right now? But guess what? You can't.
Nope.
Unless
you gotta come back next time.
Unless you're just
when we answer more phone calls. We'll answer more phone calls, and maybe we'll get into text conversations with people, and that they won't realize that we're actually relaying their answers on Spotify, but or on the podcast. Why did I say Spotify? It's because I listen to the podcast.
Hope you're binging. Hope you're just like traveling home, maybe going to visit some friends, and letting us inspire you.
I'm wondering what people are doing right now when they're listening to us. I often wonder that, because I only listen to podcasts when I'm running. That's usually when I'm.
Oh, yeah.
So like, are people? Did you say having sex?
Yeah. Do you think? Like somebody accidentally left it on?
I hope that. I mean, what a delight.
If you're part of the
StrangeFam, and that's the case, please
smash that comment, dude. Let us know in the comments if you were boning.
Smash the comment if you were smashing.
Yeah. So disaster system, body of water. So don't let disaster and body of water seep into your. If you're flying, don't think about that right now while you're listening to this episode.
Oh man, that's
don't think about.
Well,
that
they weren't until you did that.
Yeah. Hey, just dip into the crossword puzzle that's halfway done in the airline magazine.
Get your crossword puzzle. Get your colored pencils.
Get your Sodukus. Your Sodukus and your
Duco.
Is that the most? Hey, poll. This is gonna be the poll for this week.
Okay.
Which word do you think parents mispronounce most? Is it Sudoku, or is it Chipoltay? Does every person over 50 years old say Chipoltay?
Yeah.
For Chipotle?
Yeah.
And Soduku. That'll be this week's poll. All right.
Rock and roll.
So we'll hit it. All right. Thanks, y'all. Be well.
Deuces.
We already do have an outro. I forgot.
Yeah.
Adios, turd nuggets.